Done. Yeah, welcome all to the Skoolz webinar. Thanks, Vidyanathan. Thanks for making your time to give your knowledge and share your knowledge to all of us. So, participants and people who have joined here, we have Mr. Vidhyanath here who has joined us to showcase his knowledge to all of us. So, just a brief about Mr. Vidhyanath. Mr. Vidhyanath has been an educational consultant since 2000 and has around 21 years of experience in early childhood education. He's a professional trainer and has been training teachers on phonics and phonic awareness for the last 18 years. He's also a literacy consultant and a trainer for I Can Read from Singapore. He has conducted several teacher training programs and parent workshops across South India. He is a British Council certified trainer and trains students preparing for IELTS examination. He has been instrumental in starting the first New Zealand school Kiwi learners in India. So there's a lot of accolades which Mr. Vidyanathan carries as such. So Mr. Vidyanathan, I will as such hand over the platform to my colleague Sangram, and he would probably just introduce the school platform for 2 minutes, and then onwards the platform is for you.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, great. Welcome again, Mr. Vidhyanath. Sangram, you can take over and probably later give it to Mr. Vidhyanath. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Kishan. Thanks a lot. Good evening, everyone. Let me just show you our platform. So this is our platform, Skoolz. Good evening, everyone. And today I'll go take you through our platform called Skoolz. And we are one of the very few edtech companies who are certified by Startup India. And we know that as a parent, we are worried about finding the right school for our children, right? And Skoolz as a platform, educational partner to you, we help you to access to the genuine review about each of the schools. And we have a user-friendly dashboard to help you to compare among your different choices of schools. And you can submit applications very easily in one click. And also you can fix appointment with the school management. And we have a lot of videos and pictures where without visiting the school physically, sitting in front of your system, you can virtually have a walkthrough for the schools. Okay, I'll show you each features in next 2 to 3 minutes. So this is these are the page where we have 75 plus features about different about the schools to evaluate any school very accurately. And we have 15 plus images and video categories. And also we have 50 plus sports and extracurricular informations about the schools, as we can see. And we search, compare, and submit. And we have also listed a lot of top schools where once you get into the platform, you can see the details about the schools, as well as we have a lot of important blogs. Currently, we have more than 45 plus blogs, which will really help you to enhance your knowledge, what is happening and how to select the right schools as per your preference. Also, you can, we organize a lot of events, webinars here and down. So today is one of the webinar. Like that, every week we conduct 2 webinars. For last 3 months, we have conducted more than 15 to 20 webinars by experts. So I'll take you through how the search works. For example, I stay in a place called K. Narayanpura, and I want to search for a school in the platform. So I just type my locations, and if I give a search options, so what are the schools? The number of schools, there are 43 schools found in my locality. So from my, if you see the first one is Hello Kid Who Live. So here, if you see from my location, the school is 0.5 kilometer. So I can exactly know that from my residence, how far the schools distance wise. So if I click to the link, we can find the details about the schools, the key differentiators, what exactly differentiate this school compared to other schools. And also we have gallery sections. Many of the schools, they have given videos, so you can have a walkthrough their schools, and basic informations like when the school started and what are the annual fees, from which standard to which standard they have, what are the facilities they have, what are the co-curricular activities, okay, and review all these details. Also, you can compare different schools. I'll show you. For example, there are many 43 schools are there. You want to compare one school with another school. For example, I want to compare Hello Kids. Sorry. I want to compare Hello Kids with Kabira, with one more school. Let me see. Joy Kids. Yeah. Okay, if I'll give compare the option. Yes. So you can see all based on the parameters, we can compare the schools. What are the activities that each schools are providing, the class, everything, establishment year, all the details we'll get at a click. We can compare maximum 3 schools at any given point of time. Yes. And also I was talking about the blocks to enhance your knowledge, what is happening in the education world. You can go through, browse through the different blogs we have written by the experts. Okay, there's so many blogs out there. So I just given a hint about the platform. Once you personally go to the website and you browse yourself, you will have a more detailed experience about our platform. I really recommend or request all of you after this webinar, open this link, skoolz.in, and browse yourself so that you will get an experience how this portal works and how this portal is going to benefit you. With this, I'll request Kishan to take over. Thank you. Yes.
Thanks, Sangram.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess probably now the time is for the Vidhyanath to take over the platform and share us all the knowledge what he has.
Thank you so much.
Vidhyanath.
Thank you, Kishan. Thank you so much. So let me share the screen. So welcome, parents. This is a session on power parenting, how to make parenting powerful, futuristic, scientific, and visionary. See, in general, there is no rule book to become a parent. So it's all through experiential learning that we get through this process of parenting. Parenting, this particular word was coined very recently in the 1970s, and that's when the focus has now gone into parenting. How to groom children to take on responsibilities. Well, all said and done, now we become parents, and then when we become parents, the ultimate desire when we have children is for our children, for every parent, the ultimate desire will be to ensure that the child is happy and successful in life. So that's the ultimate desire for a parent, right? And when it comes to the core objective of parenting, core objective, some parents may not be aware of this core objective, but most of them are intuitively aware. When it comes to core objective, the unanimous decision will be to secure the future of their children and to unlock the true potential in them, right? So the ultimate core objective of parenting is, to secure the future and to unlock the true potential of their children. And to meet out this core objective, what we parents do, they send them to school, pay school fees, provide them with extra programs, books and apps, anything and everything that's possible to ensure that the core objective is met, that the child is, the child's future is secure, the child's potential is unlocked. So it takes a minimum of 20 plus years, a lot of time, money and effort being put in to ensure that the core objective is met, right? You as parents, you might be in different stages of meeting this core objective. One could be an early parent, one could be a middle-aged parent, other could be, on the verge where the children are about to complete studies and then take on jobs. Whatever be it, while meeting this core objective, are parents happy? There are always cause of concerns when it comes to their children's, educational performance. My child, and he needs to be pushed when it comes to studies. Poor academic engagement has been a challenge. And then I know my child is highly of potential, but then the exhibition is not that. It's pretty mediocre. That's always a cause of concern. And then what about future prospects? Once they complete studies and then they go for taking up any job or career, there's no certainty, there's no guaranteed outcomes when it comes to the education sector. So there's a lot of confusion, a lot of uncertainty that's remaining. So this has been the challenge with parents. No guaranteed outcomes. And most of the time, this particular aspect is all based on guesswork. Let me try it with this particular platform. Let me try to give this additional exposure so that my child gets that benefit, so that he can be successful in life. But all these, no guaranteed outcomes. The future remains uncertain. So that's been a challenge. And you know how, at what pace the world is changing. 100 years ago, how it was, and today, how it is. Let me give you some samples where you understand the phenomenal growth in sectors, different sectors. Let's look at the TV experience. Till yesterday, let's not talk about 100 years, till yesterday, it was box TVs. Today, all households have smart TVs. And we have, other than the cable, we have all the connections now. Prime, Amazon Prime, Hotstar, Netflix. The beauty is, even the latest movies get released on OTTs these days. You don't even have to go to movie theaters to watch movies, latest movies. So such is the transformation that's happening when it comes to TV experience. So when I said world is so changing so rapidly, that is the experience when it comes to TV. What about communication experience? I can bet not a single person in this session would be having a mobile phone which is more than 3 or 4 years old, right? Because the Android versions are getting upgraded. Till only last month, the latest version, Android version 12 got released. So which means versions which had 7 or 8, phones which had 7 or 8 versions, they're all now considered obsolete or outdated, which means, most of the apps will not be supported. So it's become a necessity for us to have the latest phone. And phones have now become an extension of the human body, right? We cannot survive without a phone these days. So, and it used to be luxury to have the latest phones earlier, right? But today, because of the changing world, and because it is all mostly, the communication is global these days, we need to have phones, the latest RAM, the latest processor. So such is the transformation that comes when it comes to communication. Messaging. I don't know if you are really aware that it took nearly 1 to 2 months for a postcard to reach to the farthest destination. But today, because of the technological advancements, anyone can be contacted instantly within a fraction of seconds through messaging. So that's the messaging experience. What about the human lifespan? I don't know if you're aware. 100 years ago, the average lifespan was only 37 years. But because of medical advancements, technological developments, and early diagnostics, the average lifespan has been increased to 70 plus years. Transport. So these are some areas I'm just wanting to know, give this kind of a highlight to you so that you understand how much the world has changed. Transport experience. You don't even have to have your own car. You can just book an Ola or Uber. The beauty is it comes and picks you at your point, at your place, then drops you at a destination with an exact estimation of the time frame, what time you will be able to reach there. Such is the transport experience these days. Banking, nobody suffered any kind of challenges even during the pandemic, the peak of the pandemic, because banking these days is all online. Shopping, you can get the latest products get delivered to your place through online shopping anywhere across the world. So these are some areas where you see phenomenal changes happening, revolutionary changes happening. But what about this field, education field? How much of it has transformed? Sure, something should have changed, right? Yes, the experience, the school experience, which means the ambience would have changed. Yes, from the blackboard, it would have become the smart boards. But what about the core curriculum? What about the teacher to child ratio? It's not changed. So which means still till date, we have not been able to offer uniformity in performances when it comes to children. And most of the time, this particular sector is based on guesswork. You offer this might work. Try this, maybe over a period of time, you might see some changes. It's all based on guesswork. And guesswork is the most dangerous thing that a person can do. I'll give you examples. Imagine a doctor performing a surgery, a heart operation, and he does this guesswork, or this vein or this artery or this artery. If he does guesswork, what happens? Likewise, if you're riding a bike for a longer time, and a bus or a lorry is in front of you, it throws a lot of smoke and the dust. You become so impatient that you want to overtake. You do guesswork, and suddenly a fast-paced vehicle coming opposite, calamity could happen. Guesswork is dangerous, and we as parents do guesswork in education for our children. So that's been a challenge. Academic engagement. There's always been, queries or pain points when it comes to parents. Children need to be pushed to read or write, or pressured from external pressure. Teacher giving an assignment or a project. That is when they're not naturally inclined towards academics these days. The parenting experience has been a challenge even in those days and even today. Not much a thing have changed. Parents are still wondering how to handle children's tantrums. They're not able to deal with children. And for the last 2 years, it's been a mess. Careers, no guarantee again. Despite so much of advancements in all sectors giving so much of guarantee. And when it comes to career, no guarantee. We keep experimenting, which is the best trending field. We'll try it out, IT, or today the trending field is artificial intelligence. Let me do a course on artificial intelligence and find out there are greener pastures. So everything is based on guesswork, no guaranteed outcomes. So why is this challenge? Why is this challenge? Because the challenge is because each and every single child is unique. When it comes to education sector, why this challenge? And most of the parents are suffering because each and every single child is unique. The potential is unique. The learning nature is unique. The mental abilities, the strengths and skills are all unique. Which means the unique children, all unique children getting into a class and being taught the curriculum. Let's talk about the curriculum. It's 100-year-old primitive curriculum that's still being followed. It is not up to date. It is not updated. Just imagine a phone getting outdated within 3 to 4 years of usage. And we are still following a curriculum which is 100-year-old. You start with English, the same rhymes, the grammar, math, addition, multiplication, then algebra, trigonometry, physics, chemistry, whatever we went through, whatever our forefathers went through, it's all the same that the children are going through. So this has been a challenge because children are unique. Each and every single child is unique. One child would be good in language, the other could be good in math, the third one could be good in sports, the fourth one could have a very good IQ. So each and every single child is unique, and it's high time as parents, you need to understand, identify, and address this unique potential in children so that they become superior learners and natural performers. So this is very important. See, a research was done to understand why this particular problem exists only in this education sector. Why? A sociological survey was conducted, and this got published in a research journal. And the findings of the survey is something which is quite alarming. I'm just going to share some of the findings, not the detailed survey, some of the findings. The finding says only 7% of the teachers come with an aim to teach. 93% of them then come by chance. You can easily imagine the kind of intensity with which they would be teaching them. 78% of the children are not at all inclined towards academics. 100% of the schools accept that they are not able to guarantee success in each and every single child. That's quite not possible at all, right? And an interesting point to note is that 86% of the children don't even understand the core objective of education, why they need to study. 86% of them, they don't understand. Like parents, the core objective of parenting is to ensure that children's future is secured and the potential is unlocked. The children, they're clueless as to why they have to study. They have to study. But the beauty is this: 96% of the parents are still willing to spend beyond their budget for their children. Even if something gets better, no problem. I know. It is not green there, but still, if something gets benefited, no problem. I'm spending beyond their budget, beyond their limits. And this particular mindset of parents is being exploited by the education sector. Exploited. 91% of the education sector, it's usually fear-driven and not hope-driven. It doesn't give you hope, but gives you certain fear. If you don't give this, then you'll be out of competition. You'll be nowhere. So this particular mindset has to be changed. The second mindset that the parents need to change is that as parents, we look at children as our extensions, right? So we start having expectations in them. We start setting expectations. So we expect our children to excel in areas wherever the child is put. For example, in education, we expect the child to excel in math, excel in science, excel in all other subjects. When the child is put in any extracurricular, we expect our children to excel in that particular area, be it sports or drama or music. When the child is put in that area, we expect, it's a natural expectation for a parent to expect excellence in children. So that point is a cause of concern. That point is a cause of worry, because what the survey says that 95% of people who are successful because they are specialists and not all-rounders. So when we expect our children to excel in all areas, we can only expect a mediocre performance and not a specialized performance. And being a specialist is like this. In one field, you're so proficient that you can create something in that field. Specialist means you're not good at other fields. You're good at only one particular field. So that has to be the focus. We want through this survey, we wanted to find out what is common in these successful people, because successful people are specialists. So let's understand a bit more about these successful people. What's the reason for their success? Is it the scores or degrees? Is it the money power? Is it the family background or the destiny? And then the finding was interesting. Nothing above was the common factor, but these were the common factors. All successful people possessed smart mindset. They were all talented learners. They began early. And then the last point is the most important point for parents. The self-confidence in them could never be shaken, which means they don't need any external motivation to get that confidence. They fall, they rise without any external. They are self-motivated. So it's very, very important as parents. In order for our children to succeed in life, these factors need to be very, very strongly embedded. The child should be possessing a smart mindset. It should be started early, and the child should be possessing high self-confidence so that he becomes a natural performer. Self-confidence, that's the most important thing. Self-confidence, so that anything can be achieved. Successful people are highly self-confident. They are very good decision makers. They don't regret taking decisions, even if the decision is a bit nasty. They don't regret. So such is the most important thing. Imagine you go buy a computer or a mobile. Where do you see value? You see value in the RAM, the processor, and the operating system, right? And the least importance is given to the hard drive. But imagine your child's brain being equivalent to a computer. Yes, absolutely, it's even better than that. Imagine the child's brain being a computer. The education sector is focusing on what? Only the hard drive, the storage, the memory, right? What is being taught is expected to be stored in the memory, retained till such time that the child writes the exams, regurgitates, reproduces, and then forgets it for life. So only the memory is being tested, and that memory gets released when the exam stress is over. Then the memory releases everything, so the child forgets. So only the storage is being assessed. So when you look at marks or grades, it's about what is retained in the child during the exam time, only that much. So the real value in a child is never explored. And it's important as parents for you to understand the real value is in the child's mental and natural abilities. What are these then? The ones that you see in the screen. Focus factor, which is a combination of focus and concentration levels in the child. Dynamic IQ, decision-making ability, creative quotient, and learning nature. So it's no more about information or the knowledge that the child possesses. Yes, absolutely. See, you don't even have to send the children to schools, because Khan Academy is giving you free online education from kindergarten till 12th grade. International quality education. So why do we need to go to schools? Because that is where you build on the natural survival skills. That's very important. So it's not just the information or the knowledge that the child possesses, because it is easily available. You go to YouTube, you get better information. Everything is there on the Google or the YouTube. Then why do we have to go to schools then? So it's about building on these mental and natural abilities. So as parents, you need to understand when you send children to school, you need to ensure that they also develop these mental and natural abilities. How do we do that? Look at this. When it comes to science, anything and everything in science can be measured, right? Weight, yes, can be measured in kilograms. So which means, you measure your weight. If you find out that the BMI is a bit more, you work out, and then you can reduce it. So it's something that needs to be measured. Current can be measured in amperes, speed in kilometers per hour, distance in meters, temperature in Celsius. And the best part is, the complex of all is the human body. And all the vital organs can be measured just with the help of a blood test report or a scan report. And it's all numbered. It's all numbered. It's all number. Very, very important. Everything is numbered. So where has been the missing link so far? What's been missing? The missing link has been the measurement of human mindset and then the learning nature. That's where we were not able to measure this, because of which, as parents, we have been exploited. Important for us to know that we need to measure. If I ask you a question, each and every single individual has a unique potential. Do you know your uniqueness? Something which no one else has? Most of us might think, oh, we are all the same. No, I can do whatever others do. But you have something unique which no one else can do. It's only you can do. So we're still searching for it. But it's high time that at least for our children, we need to ensure that the unique potential is identified and then catered upon. So we need a scientific approach now. As parents, we need a scientific approach, because science can be measured. Anything that can be measured can be improved upon. So once you look at this approach, you can maximize the child's potential so that the child becomes a superior learner and also becomes highly self-confident. And to help parents in this particular area, a new field has emerged. A new field, cognitive science. Cognitive science is a recent phenomenon. It is just 30 years old. And until recently, this field was confined to the researchers and the scientists. For the first time, now this particular field is helping parents understand their children's unique potential and then nurture the potential so that the child becomes a specialist in that particular field and becomes highly successful. Because when the child is highly self-confident, he is bound to become successful. Now let's look at what cognition is all about. Cognition plus science is cognitive science, right? So let's understand what cognition is all about. Cognition is nothing to be worried about. It is about the entire thinking process, what happens inside the brain. Your mindset, your mental abilities, the speed, the emotions, the character, the behavior, the learning nature, and the natural abilities. This is what cognition is all about. Simply put, your entire thinking process, what happens inside the brain, whatever you do with your brain, that is cognition. And now, what is found out is that when you apply science to cognition, you can reorder or reprogram the brain in such a format that the mindset, the potential can be enhanced. Yes, it is possible now. And we need to understand, we know that science is something which can be measured. Let's look at science in the education sector. Why science, the help of science needs to be in the education sector? Because most of the time, the platforms or the curriculums or whatever is being offered now, most of it is non-scientific in nature. And that is the reason why this particular field, when you look at all other sectors, you find so much of advancements happening. But when it comes to education, that's still only recently NEP is now being talked about, and maybe in the near future we'll see some changes happening, coding coming into the curriculum in the 6th grade, yes, but then it is still to happen. So scientific approach is required. Why? Especially in the education sector. Why? Because science is based on facts and not based on opinions. So far, it was all based on opinions. The science is based on facts. Science is based on empirical evidences. Science is something which has validity and reliability. Science is something which is standardized. The most of the gadgets that you have at home is all standardized equipments. A mobile phone, a model that you have, anyone else buys in the world, it's going to be the same. So which means that The characteristics and features are all uniform in nature. Any equipment or any gadget that you have, be it a laptop or a washing machine or a refrigerator, comes with standardized metrics, uniform. So here through science, we can also bring in uniformity when it comes to education. That is possible. So standard, it can be standard. Science is something which can be standardized. Science is something which can be measured and quantified. The beauty is the last point. Science is unbiased. It doesn't reflect upon certain ideologies or principles or opinions. It is unbiased. You give this is what is the outcome. So it is unbiased. So it's important that we take help of this particular field, cognitive science, because the beauty is this particular field, cognitive science, is an overlapping of all disciplines that you see on screen. Pedagogy concerning education and learning, psychology concerning mind and behavior, science concerning its brain and its functioning. It's an overlapping of all three disciplines. So it is catering to all segments. So that is the reason why this is of much help to parents. And it's now proven that cognitive science is going to be the mother of all future technologies, including artificial intelligence, which is the trending field right now. Yes, billions of dollars are being pumped in to make machines intelligent. That is artificial intelligence, right? Alexa, can you switch off the light, please? It understands our language, English. It is so intelligent that it understands. And it switches off the light. It plays on some music. It talks about weather. It finds out whatever is there on the internet and then tells you. Artificial intelligence. So imagine why this particular field is important, cognitive science, because cognitive science is an umbrella term, like mother of all future technology, where artificial intelligence is also one branch of cognitive science, one branch. So, which means if machines can be made intelligent, humans can be even made better. So here, this particular, it's going to be the trending field. From now on, you will see within 2 years, everyone will be talking about cognitive science, because the trends are going to shift. Earlier, it used to be academics, too much of academics pressure. And then schools started focusing on extracurricular, it is not only academics, we give this skills, that skills, skating, swimming, this, that. But now it is cognitive science, technology, cognitive development, which will also include academics and co-curricular, because what is found out is that once you start sharpening the skills, the abilities, children are they become naturally inclined towards academics. So it's a kind of a complementary mechanism now. So which means the pedagogy should be also in alignment with these cognitive abilities. So now schools are getting to it now. We have there's a lot of news coming up that schools are now getting adapted to this. Maybe 1 or 2 years down the line, you'll see a lot of schools coming with a combination of all these methodologies. So the best part is for parents, all the pain areas that you had till date can be addressed. Uncertainty in educational outcomes can be addressed. Guesswork in parenting and schooling can be addressed. Children not interested in academics, non-uniformity in performances can be addressed. And beauty is the most of the education sector, even people in the education sector, at least 90% of them are unaware of this particular potential, the cognitive potential and the natural potential. So all the pain areas can be addressed through this particular field. So let's look at what this field really offers. What's the solution? I've given you an indication. Yes, when you start measuring the mindset and the learning nature in children, you can address the solution. You can address the challenge, the problem, because once you understand the uniqueness in children, you can cater to building on this uniqueness. Let's look at what happens. It works on this principle, theory of cognition as proposed by Jean Piaget, theory of multiple intelligence as proposed by Dr. Howard Gardner, and cognitive science education technology in itself. So which means what, just for parents, you don't have to understand all these metrics, just to give you a glimpse. The child's IQ, the focus, the creative quotient, the decision-making ability, multiple intelligences, the self-estimation, everything can be measured. Let's look at now, which means now it can be measured. The mental abilities can be measured, the strength and learning nature can be measured. Let's look at what this is all about. These are the most important life skills, as I mentioned earlier, when I compared the child's brain to a computer. The child's brain, the mental abilities, these are the most important cognitive elements. IQ was considered a constant factor before, but now recently it's understood that IQ keeps changing even in a single day. The IQ keeps varying. For a child, if you measure the IQ, it keeps varying in a single day, very highly fluctuating. So it's called dynamic IQ. And IQ contributes to only 2% of the cognitive elements, only 2%. Now, people say, oh, this guy has a high IQ. It doesn't really work well, having the best of the best IQ doesn't work well. So you need to have combinations of all these. Focus factor, which is a combination of focus and concentration levels. It's even important for us as adults. In order for us to do a job well accomplished, you need to have better focus and concentration levels. That's more important. But the most important is the purple color, the decision-making speed. Parents, I want you to understand this particular point. The decision-making ability in a child needs to be nurtured, but because of various factors and things, modern day parenting, it is too much of indulgence. We take care of children so well that we take decisions for our children right from when the day begins, right from how he has to, what time he has to take bath, the dress he has to wear, how he should be. The decisions are always taken by the parents. It's because of out of love, out of concern, overindulgent. So what happens again? This child, when he completes studies and is now is taking up a job, he doesn't have this decision-making ability. He relies on either parents or close friends or role models to help him in taking decisions. That's the most important thing. Successful people are good decision makers. The speed at which they take decisions is phenomenal, and they just hold on to their decision. They don't regret taking decisions. They hold on to their decisions. And then the next part is the creative quotient, the problem-solving skills. Children are very creative in the young period, kindergarten, but then when they get on to any curriculum, following any curriculum, what happens again? It's like, they start focusing only on academics, because of which the creative quotient is slowly coming down. So it's important as parents to understand these cognitive elements. So let's look at what IQ is. Everyone knows IQ, intelligence quotient. But what exactly is, to a layman, to a parent? A child's chronological age and the mental age. There's the ratio. Is the child of 8 years of age at par with the child's mental age, above par or below par? You're able to measure it now and also improve upon it. The focus factor, which is a combination of focus and concentration levels, can be measured and improved upon. The decision-making ability can be improved upon. The creative quotient, this is about the problem-solving skill, out-of-the-box thinking. This can also be measured. So with these 4 elements, parents are now able to understand their own children's cognitive capacity. What is cognitive capacity? Cognition is what happens inside the brain. So the brain's holding capacity, is it high, average, or low? Imagine it is a natural design. It's a natural design. There are people who are so fat, but then they eat less. And there are people who eat so much, but then still they are so slim. So it is about the natural design, body design. Likewise, the natural brain design. You need to understand your child's brain design, so that if the child's cognitive capacity is low, don't worry. It's okay. It's perfectly okay. It's just a natural design. It has nothing to do with intelligence. So if the cognitive capacity is low, what happens again? That there will not be much of information. The child cannot take too much of information. So there shouldn't be overload, too much of cognitive overload. That's important as parents to understand. Likewise, the learning pace. Is the child, my child, a fast-paced learner, a medium-paced learner, or a slow learner. Usually the education sector, what happens is again, these children, the slow learners, are considered dumb children and discarded actually. But slow learners are highly intelligent and highly sensitive. So it is up to us as parents to ensure that, their self-confidence in these children are never gone for a toss. Very, very important. Very, very important. And then understanding the thinking pattern, because the brain has two hemispheres, right and left, logical and creativity. So the shift in thinking, it is never 50-50, never 50-50. So the shift is averaging 7% shift. So is it more towards logical or more towards creativity? So understanding this is also important. And when it comes to children in the early years, parents who have young children till 7 years of age, you also have to measure, but not the cognitive elements that I discussed about, not about the IQ, the decision making ability, the creative portion of the focus factors, but then the cognitive developmental stages, like the intellectual development, the physical intelligence, the social intelligence, and the emotional intelligence. Yes, it can be measured. Likewise, this is about the mental abilities. Till now, what I have discussed is about the mental abilities. Let's come to the natural abilities. What are these natural abilities? Dr. Howard Gardner had proposed this theory of multiple intelligence in 1983, and most of the education sector now, offers curriculum which is catering to this, multiple intelligence theory. But it's important as parents for you to understand, because why this particular session is for parents is because of the fact that home is the best learning environment, and you are the best teachers for your own children. Imagine you put the child in the best school possible. A Nobel Prize award teacher is now taking the class. Still, the teacher has a limitation. The teacher is now addressing at least minimum of 30 to 40 children in a classroom. And the given time frame is 45 minutes to 1 hour. Even God cannot give individual attention to each and every single child. So imagine how can the teacher ensure that the concept is well received by all the children in the class, because children come from different mood swings, different learning levels. So it's quite impossible for the best of the best teacher to address this requirement. So parents are the best teachers for their own children. So you need a support mechanism, like how you seek professional help in the form of a doctor. When the child is ill, you take them to the doctor, right? You don't know anything about it. And if there is any leakage at home, a water leakage at home, in the kitchen or in the washroom, what happens? You don't know where to address this leakage, so you seek professional help in the form of a plumber. Likewise, if you have any electrical short circuit at home, and these days it's all concealed wiring, you don't know how to address this issue, so you seek a professional help in the form of an electrician. Likewise, you need to have some kind of a support mechanism so that you are able to understand your child's uniqueness. Let's look at what this multiple intelligence is all about. Children who are good in language are linguistically predominant. They can read, write, tell stories. They love languages. Either they prefer learning different languages, or in one language they delve deeper. And these children can go on to become an anchor or a radio TV or a host or an attorney or a journalist or a teacher or an advertiser. So this is where they are strong at. And this is where they'll be passionate about doing things. It's important to understand that passion is everything. Once you're passionate, you become so proficient in that field that you become a specialist by default. And once you become a specialist, by default, you earn money like crazy. It's important, just the wait period for the child to become passionate about things. So language, linguistically predominant. Logical is more of numbers, the patterns and sequence. These children are so good at that they can go on to become an engineer or banker or software developer or businessman or CA or a statistician, detective. So these are some areas where they shine. Visual ability children, they're good with visual and sensory perceptions. They learn by looking at puzzles, mazes, those sorts of things. They can become, eventually they can become a pilot or a photographer or an intelligence officer or a movie director or a sculptor or a web designer. And these people have special abilities. They sense, like take 4 carrots and say, oh, this could be quarter kg, and then they measure, it'll be precisely quarter kg. That's the sensory perception that they have. They can look at two beams and say, oh yeah, this can take that weight just by having a look at it. So that is the natural design for them. Children who are good with music, I don't even have to say. They could be a musician or a composer or a singer, and these people love music and they learn through music. The learning style is through music. Kinesthetic is about physical activities. Children are so good at physical activities. They don't want to sit and learn from a person. They don't have that patience. These people are physically exploring in nature. Now is the time for you to understand if the child is physically predominant, then where is this person so passionate about it? Is he good at acting, being an athlete or a yoga coach or a sportsman or a choreographer or a jockey, craftsman or a model? Interpersonal. These children cannot be contained in a room. They need people. They need to socialize. They cannot remain without socializing. And these children can go on to become an entrepreneur or a leader or a sales and marketing guy or a psychologist or a counselor or a hotelier. So it's important for us to understand these things. Intrapersonal is exactly the opposite of interpersonal. These children don't prefer socializing. They prefer solitude. They think for themselves, and these people are so strong in their intuition that they can go on to become a researcher or a fashion designer or an intelligence officer or a therapist, doctor. Yes, doctors, they're highly intrapersonally intelligent people. Naturalistic intelligence, these children are so aligned towards nature, plants and animals, they spend so much of time that they never get bored. So it's important for us to understand, where is my child good at? And these children can go on to become an astronomer or a biologist or an environmentalist or a geologist or a zoologist or a landscaper or a vet doctor even. So once you understand the mental and natural abilities, you are helping the child's brain become smarter by virtue of which child's learning becomes better, the academic inclination becomes better, the skills become better, the child starts having high self-confidence, and guaranteed, if a child is highly self-confident, be rest assured that he's going to succeed in life. Guaranteed. And once you are supporting this elements, by default, the other elements like the child's self-confidence, the focus, concentration levels, the decision-making level, the verbal lingual ability, the comprehension levels, everything improves upon. So it's with this I end the session, because in the parenting, when you want to make this parenting process powerful, very important, these 3 points. Please work on the strengths in children and not on the weakness. The education sector works on the weakness in the child. For example, for a child to whom math doesn't come at all, the child is made to sit for extra classes or suggested tuition classes or Byju's or Kumon or QMath. Imagine the child's plight. The child's natural subject is not math, which means the child's self-confidence goes for a toss. He starts thinking, oh my God, for everyone it's easy, for me it's difficult. So the child's self-confidence goes for a toss. So it's important for us to ensure that you work on the strengths in the children, because what is found out is that once you start focusing on the strengths in children, the weakness also improves upon it. It's documented. So don't worry about the weakness. It will improve once you start focusing on the strength areas. The second point is to ensure that you understand where your child is unique. Make him a specialist in that particular field. And then it's important for you, because cognitive science, what it says is that from 3 years to 13 years, cut off. 13 years is the last. So the earliest intervention, the better. So the natural ability can be recognized early. Please, the talent can be recognized early. It's important that you recognize it as early as possible and don't get confused between scores and talents. So with this, I end the session. I ensure that you take necessary steps to ensure that you become a power parent. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Any questions you have, you might ask.
Thanks, Vidhyanath. That was really very good. That was a deep dive into the cognitive skills and a lot of information which you shared to us. That's really was good. Yeah. Members who have logged, people who have logged in, if you have any questions, probably you can type in on the Q&A field, or you may, yeah.
Thank you so much, Asha. Thank you so much. I feel honored.
Nice. Anyone else has any questions? Great. If there are no questions, I mean, Vidhyanath, you are so clear that people are have got the 100% knowledge that there is no
Thank you so much.
questions. That is really very good.
Yeah, Badal sir, I have one question actually.
Yeah.
I just met one child actually very recently,
Huh.
who was a very good student from first till seventh standard, extremely good student, one of the top students in the class.
Okay.
But what happened during this pandemic when the person was the child was inside the home, not giving enough opportunity to go out and play and things, has got addicted to gadgets. Most of the time playing with video games. So what happened during this process when he has got addicted in video games and mobile phones and other things, the interest towards studies has gone down. Okay, so but he has interest in only 2 3 subjects like science and biology and other things, but not interest in literature subject. But because he is right on 10th standard, he has to pass all the exams. So this child is finding extremely difficult to open the book and read literature subjects. So how to tackle these situations actually?
10th grade.
Yes.
So okay, so he's a teenager now. See, when it comes to children from 13 years onwards, the hormone impact, comes in, and because of which, a lot of things happen. They start experimenting, exploring, and when they get addicted to gadgets, it's really horrible because the impact is so deep. I'll tell you, the last 2 years, because of the pandemic, there's been a lot of challenges, and you will see parents coming, going to psychologists, needing support mechanism, because see, this is the first generation parents, poor situation now. The first generation parents where they have to see all these, witness all this, and that too because of the pandemic, it's become worse. The American Pediatric Association says that a child from 0 to 2 years should be exposed to 0 hours of screen time. For children from 2 to 5 years, it's 1 hour of screen time, and from 6 years till the time they complete studies, it's only 2 hours per day of screen time. And you can easily imagine, average exposure is minimum 5 hours to minimum maximum 14 hours per day. So that's playing a havoc in a child's brain. Seriously, so much of havoc. You will not believe. You go to Google and you see a lot of challenges happening, right from the eye problem to the body fat, getting worse. Other than that, the mental depression, they get on to mental depression. They have a lot of learning disabilities in the form of ADD, ADHD, autism, dyslexia. A lot of challenges happening. They get into depression. They have temperamental mood. They are so they are irritated. They're so irritated. They cannot handle parents. So such is the situation now. So it's first thing is to have conversation with children. For parents, the only thing that they can have now is, even for parents, you won't believe, on an average, an adult is spending 11 hours of screen time every day, and it's become a necessity because of the job that we are in now. And so it is only remedial measures could be specifically coming out with no screen time on one day or during weekends. Even they should be shelling out on mobile phones, using mobile phones. So they need to really have a lot of conversations with children, so that only conversations can happen. No amount of reprimands or whatever demands you put, they will only be defending. So it's important. And education, as I mentioned earlier, the system is such that they are not naturally inclined. So it takes a lot of time for the parent to understand, that spend time there and then bring him out. Maybe he can help. The parent can take help of a therapist initially, but then ultimately it is the parent who can really bring the child out. It takes time, but then it is possible.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thanks, Vidhyanath. It was really very good, and thanks, Sangram, for all the technical help what you did. And thanks for all the participants who have participated and who are here to get more knowledge about cognitive skills in the parenting. So thanks to one and all, and please do log into the skoolz.in to know more about the schools, and also kindly spread this word to all the budding parents who have children in the age group of 1 to 7, so that they can choose the right school from our platform. Okay, great. Thanks a lot, and probably we can end the session. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.